I am Timofey Hashko, and this is Andrew Townsend.
Andrew Townsend, yes.
And we made this wonderful short film called Bongo, a heist film with a MacGuffin, pantyhose.
Pantyhose MacGuffin.
Pantyhose,
pretty loose.
And, yeah, a very loose pantyhose MacGuffin.
So this opening sequence here was something that we didn't storyboard at all. It was just kind of thrown together, wasn't it?
Yes, we wanted to do some sort of an opening sequence to give the viewer an idea of that something is about to happen, some sort of a heist, and we conveyed that through this opening sequence.
With a very Russian theme to it.
There's a title.
Bongo. So this is the outside of Tim's house on Pennsylvania Avenue. And when I originally was thinking of the Bongo character, I'd kind of pictured him out on your sidewalk, looking very menacing, scared, maybe smoking a cigarette, nervous, like potentially trouble.
Okay.
By the time it got around to shooting it, he was behind a tree, which was fine. I thought it worked out really well. But the idea is that he would get tired of waiting around, and then he would like break in to the house where presumably they had all known each other at this house. And how did you light this?
This scene on the porch, well, there's a porch light just above, and so, you know, it's always on. We didn't really have to add any light there. The only additional light that I used in this scene was one of those little LED ones, you know, the on-camera one.
Yeah, it was mine.
Your light, yes, yes. I was wondering where it went. You took it. So yeah, it just a little bit from this side to brighten up his face, the side of his face. But other than that, there was no additional light. Just that 40 watts or whatever the light bulb on top of it is. That's it. Needless to say, these were shot on like totally different days. There's nothing else we can add.
The lighting in the kitchen here was just really cool. We had a lot of fun with this later on.
Yes, the kitchen. I was really afraid that the light outside, the security light across on the other side of on the other building across the street, would mess everything up. But it actually looks it looks like moonlight, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got kind of a bluish tint to it.
And it's actually not that blue, but because we were white balanced for different temperature inside, that one was really, really blue. And I really thought it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it.
Because we have a little bit of a reflection, I think, from that same LED light.
Right, just in the middle pane of the window, you can see it on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Andy's standing there holding it.
Holding the light.
And it was actually raining really hard that day, so all the audio that we recorded, we couldn't really use it because the sound of the rain was just too much. So everything that you hear was recreated in post.
Right. Yeah. We decided that we would use the rain later, but at this point in the film, the progression of the film, we didn't think it was appropriate.
The closet doors. So yeah, we're shining. There's really one main light, key light, I guess, right, from the left side of Andrew, shining through the closet doors, which you can see reflected.
On the right-hand
side,
side,
so you can see the reflection, but you probably cannot make out what exactly it is. But that's the same closet doors that we end up using later in a different room where Bongo is hiding behind. But yeah, that was the main light. We kind of shone that light through those slits, and it looked really, really pleasing.
Yeah, it cast like shadows that were just sort of ominous. We didn't want to have light that was, just full. We were really wanting to mix it up. In fact, as I recall, we were like throwing stuff over the light. Like we were like throwing nets over the light, anything to just get it to try to cast shadows. And finally somebody said, well, why don't we bring in these closet doors? And
I took one of those cardboard boxes and started cutting slits in it, which somebody called ahead of time it's not going to work, and it didn't.
Yeah, no.
Chelsea said it's not
Chelsea
going to
said it's not going to work.
and it didn't. So Andrew.
Ah.
So how did we make this wound?
Yeah. This was great. This was just like a lot of stuff just happened to fall into place to make this wound. We didn't really plan this going in. We had decided that he would have an injured leg, but it was nothing like this in our minds. So you want to explain how we got here?
Well, the blood was made. Chelsea made the blood with pretty standard ingredients, corn syrup and food coloring and whatever else you put in. But then the flesh, those bits and pieces of the flesh, that was a complete accident, wasn't it?
Chelsea was wanting me to try some funky drink.
Well, it's kombucha. It's not that funky. It's just kombucha.
Funky. It was funky for me, and it was like this. What do you call it?
I think it's kombucha.
Kombucha, and there was like kind of this fermenting version, and then she said, "Oh," which was disgusting. And then she said, "Oh, in the refrigerator, I've got like a better version that's been cut down with some pomegranate juice, and give that a try." So I tried. It wasn't half bad, but then as she was pouring it for me, a big hunk of it flopped into my cup.
Of the kombucha SCOBY.
The SCOBY, which was this kind of a fleshy looking, and then we were all like, we totally have to like stuff that in his pants, and that'll be his flesh.
And you mean in the rib of his pants?
Yeah, in the rib of his pants. So that'll be where the fleshiness will come from. And then somebody said, go get a bottle and break it, and we did that.
Oh yeah, the glass itself.
Yeah, because we hadn't planned on that. And then she threw in some more of her blood, and I don't know, it just sort of came together. It looks pretty gross.
Pretty real. I like the fact that Andrew doesn't even flinch.
Yeah, I remember there was some talk about having him wince. And I thought to myself, it would be creepier if he doesn't even react, like he's some sort of, robot transformer or something.
Wreck that focus.
Here we're holding a pin light onto the end of the glass, one of those little like little pen lights onto the end of the glass, trying to get it to flicker around the edges.
Just sparkle a little bit, yeah.
And speaking of lighting, on this shot, when he walks into the bedroom, when we initially set it up, the wall to the to the right of the door was pretty well lit. And when his head emerged, we just thought it would look cooler if the only light you saw was on his head. And so we were holding up a screen on the other end of the room, trying to get it just right so that it covered up.
Oh yeah, we flagged out the wall so that there's only a little bit of light coming through this.
So when you see his head, he's like kind of scary and ominous as he walks through, which is pretty cool. Pantyhose. So we should say something about the tickets and the pictures. You just printed those up, right? Took the picture like the day before? Or?
Picture, yeah. When we shot the opening sequence, which was the first thing we shot, that's when we took the photograph, and then I just, I went to CVS or whatever, and just printed it.
And the plane tickets?
The tickets, Chelsea helped me design them. I just found some template online, saw some image of it, and punched in my names, the names we came up with, and changed the logo for the airline.
Oh, I did not know that.
Added the destination, yeah.
That was cool.
If you look at the names on those tickets, one is Natasha something, and the other one is Grigori?
Yeah, Grigori. That's right. We were calling Kalen Grigori.
Grigori, yeah.
So he comes in and he starts to look at the packed bag and realize that something's up, and maybe starts to let his guard down a little bit as he gets...
He notices the picture.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he lets his guard down a little bit. He relaxes the tension, sets the gun down, looks at the picture.
Remembers the good old days.
And this is when we introduce the couple through this picture. Because we don't really see them in the beginning, in that opening sequence. We just see their hands. We would only see their faces. So here, through that photograph, this is when we see them for the first time. Right before they enter the scene. She gets the glass without realizing that it's wet. Somebody drank from it.
Nobody notices. Now, why did we go with it in Russian instead of English?
Why not?
Right,
It's never established that it's happening. The action happens in America.
Exactly.
They don't necessarily look like. I mean, they look like they could be anything, any nationality. So why not?
Well, our goal was initially, we were very inspired by Mamet. That was one of the first things that Thomas had us read in his class. And the idea of having a narrative without dialogue was really intriguing. So we really didn't want to have any dialogue.
That's right.
That's how we started this out, was let's just do it without dialogue. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, a point came when we were like hashing out the actual screenplay that we decided when he's looking out the window, they should say something. And we were just going to have him say something in English, but then you just said, well, why don't we do it in Russian? And I just love that idea.
Well, we couldn't figure out a way how to establish that they had backstabbed Bongo at the heist. All this happens after the heist, obviously, and we just couldn't figure out a way how to establish that without them actually saying something. That's why we had the line of dialogue.
Yeah, and this works out great. This works out great. You can tell by the way he's looking out the window, he's worried. Now let's talk about what you're doing here with when you're dollying down here.
I used, at IPY, they have these pocket dollies, Kessler pocket dolly, and I put in a tripod vertically, and I have one of those arms, it's called Tough Arm, and it can be adjusted any way you want, and I just had the camera sitting on top of it, so I just put the camera, I guess, parallel to the ground and just slide it along the dolly, up and down.
We did that a couple of times, both vertically. Earlier, you followed Bongo's glass in the kitchen up with one of those. And then you did them later horizontally a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dolly, it's oldest trick in Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but it was really cool because it just added a little something each time, where normally you would just like pan down, boring, you know. So now we see that the boyfriend here is looking a little ominous, and he's obviously up to no good as he reaches for his gun.
I didn't realize how hairy his chest is until this shot. All right, we'll make an attempt to stick this MacGuffin.
Yeah, this is our very weak attempt at a MacGuffin.
This is really the MacGuffin, the diamonds.
The diamonds were supposed to be in a legs pantyhose container, but they don't sell them anymore.
So she's packing the diamonds. They're ready to take off for Argentina. They have a lot of money. They backstab Bongo. Supposedly, whoever, they got him. He's not coming. So the two of them escape to Argentina. She's just packing up so they can pass the security checkpoints and whatnot.
All part of the plan.
Then she notices the photograph. And a shot is heard from the outside.
And slightly seen from the outside. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see a little flash.
So, presumably, in her mind, Bongo shot her, right?
See, I never even thought of that. Would Bongo? It never even entered my mind that it would have been Bongo and not the boyfriend from her perspective. Because I always knew it was the boyfriend, so I guess.
No, well, she's sitting there packing her stuff, and she notices the photograph that is out of place. It was in the suitcase, now it's sitting over there. And very quickly, she realizes that something's up. She wonders, why is it here? Then she hears the gun call.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And she's like, oh my God. And then she gets shot.
Yeah, because the photograph was moved. And the boyfriend couldn't have done that.
No, I couldn't have done it.
I got layers going on here I didn't even realize.
But then we come back through Bongo's perspective. We see her dead. And then the boyfriend, he shot her. So now, the boyfriend, Mohammed, or whatever his name is, I don't remember. Grigori. Grigori. He had backstabbed everybody. Bongo at the heist, he killed her here. He is about to escape to Buenos Aires with all diamonds by himself.
Although he leaves a few diamonds laying around, I don't know what that's for. Yeah. He's in a hurry.
And then he picks up the photograph, and he also was wondering.
Maybe he's just struck with nostalgia, who knows. But he heard something coming out of the closet.
Which was the gun. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
It looks very ominous. Very intense.
He's a Terminator. Look at that.
So now, presumably, Bongo again shoots him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he falls down, and it's the girl.
Looking a little worse for wear.
Huh?
It's an expression. She's looking worse for her wear.
So I really like this shot, what Steven ended up doing with it.
Yeah, the
The
blood.
after effects, the blood, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't there. Bongo comes out of the closet. Everybody's dead. He assesses the scene, looks at the photograph.
Now, the challenge when we first started thinking of the Bongo character was to have somebody who was going to start out maybe a little bit dangerous, a little bit nervous, mean, unpredictable, just like somebody who was completely in flux. He just got backstabbed. Now maybe he wants to get back at them. He wants to get the diamonds and so forth. But the idea is that Bongo would, over the course of the film, have a revelation, so that by the end of the film, the viewer started to, have sympathy for Bongo, maybe root for Bongo. Maybe Bongo isn't such a bad guy.
Why Bongo?
My dog's name was Bongo. So here we are. Bongo has now he's seen some stuff, right? His both of his partners have shot each other, would have shot him, and now he's looking at the diamonds, and he could run off with them.
Dolly down.
There's that dolly shot. Picture puts away.
Considers taking the diamonds. Right to focus. Walks off without thinking.
And there you have it. So you were pretty happy with that, right?
Well, as a first step towards the movie making career, I think it's a pretty decent one. Yes, I'm happy.
Yeah, I was happy
And
too.
of course, could be better, but it could be much worse.
No, I mean, the attention to detail on this was really astonishing. Unless you were here and you saw what went on as we went over things over and over and again. Just move a little bit. Oh, move the light just this much more. Oh, just this. I mean, again and again and again, and everything had to be just perfect. It could be frustrating if you didn't see the vision, but you clearly saw the vision. And I was just kind of along for the ride.
Oh yeah. I'm the man with the plan.
I was trying to help out, but this was
The only thing that helped me have the vision is the storyboard. If I didn't do it, then I probably wouldn't have it.
that was the most amazing storyboard ever. Yeah, take a look in the special features for the storyboard. It goes scene by scene. It's very cool.